When I saw this aquarium, I was like, wow, this could be a cool project. It's an aquabox. I haven't heard of the brand before, but basically it's a tiny aquarium. I think it's about 5 liters, so it's not much. One handy dandy detail about it is that you plug the entire aquarium in with one plug, and in the back it has one plug for the filter and one plug for the light. So basically 2 in 1. For the vision of this aquarium, it was just a little bit of a tiny biotope with a lot of tannins and leaf litter, and I have some leftover twigs from different tanks, and I have this piece of wood. It's kind of small and it doesn't really do much in a 60-liter aquarium or bigger. And I have this leftover dragonstone. I really like dragonstone. It doesn't change your water parameters or affect them in any way, and it looks really cool. And I have I boiled some tannins, so I have some catappa leaves that were left over and boiled so they would sink. If you don't boil it, it will not sink. So that could be a handy thing to do, especially when you want it to be on the ground. So I just started off by adding some aqua soil. The aqua soil is not just gonna provide a little bit of nutrients for whatever I decide to put in here, but it's also gonna buffer the water parameters. That means it's gonna keep the water parameters stable, and shrimps depends on stable waters. I will only have shrimps in this aquarium. I will not put fish in this tiny tank. I think it's like 5 liters, so it's way too small. So I'm just gonna try off and see where things goes. I'm not scared of using big pieces, even though it's a tiny aquarium, because it's gonna be enough space in here. And also I wanted to have a aquascape that's not just flat on the bottom, but that goes up against the wall. So I have to try to build upwards as well using what I've got here. This scape is not really planned that well either. It was just an idea I wanted to do, looking at Instagrams, because you have some really cool blackwater setups, and that's what I wanted to do. So for the catappa leaves, they are quite large and would ruin the scale of things, so I'm just ripping them into tinier pieces just to make it appear not like you have huge leaves in a tiny aquarium, but more leaf littery, so you can get away with the scale of things. So it might look like the things, but the hardscape, it's a normal size, and then the leaves is according to that. I also have some elder cones, which I also boiled for tannins, so they will sink. These are safe to put in your shrimp aquarium. Do not put any kind of cones in your aquarium, because some are toxic and will kill both fish and shrimps, and we don't want that. That's just sad. So keep in mind, know what you're putting inside. So I'm just gonna play around also with the twigs, because I wanted to add like more of a root feel for the details. The more like tiny things and details you put into it, the more put together is it gonna look. So I thought this turned out quite nice for just the hardscape and a little bit of details, of course. I have a space in the back, as you can see here. It's space for the filter that goes in, and I also have a space for a heater. I'm trying to get a hold of a heater that's small enough, because it's really hard to get. You cannot basically find the super nano heaters here in Norway. I can't seem to find it, and we have gotten new import rules, so it's gonna be so expensive to import one. So I'm doing my best, but I'm gonna keep a heater. Where I'm putting the aquarium is not gonna be, the temperature does not fluctuate a lot in there. I've tested this tank for quite some time to see if it was fluctuating a lot, but it's not. So I will have something green in my aquariums. All of them will need a piece of green. So this is basically just moss. I have different types of moss. I have Java moss, and this type of moss which is the cardamom moss. So it doesn't grow attached to most things, so it's just a nice moss to just lay around. I also had a little bit of grass from another tank that's gone a little bit out of where I wanted it to grow, so I just took a couple of pieces of that. I don't want much grass in this aquarium. It's not a grassy look, but a couple of pieces. The moss is gonna be like the main plant in here, and also I'm adding some floating plants because I love having something green to go with black and like the roots coming down. I also had a little bit of anubias. It's not pretty anubias plants because my fish had been for some reason chewing on it. They do get food, but I don't know if they like caught the message. So it's basically just the root of the nubia and a couple of leaves. So I'm imagining it's gonna grow in quite nice, but it just needs time. I don't right now have any cool anubias because yeah, they wanted to eat them, I guess. And also my apple snail has been going mental over them. I mean, I just fed them like butternut squash yesterday, but still, they eat my plants. I'm guessing I have good plants. I don't know. They will not be just satisfied with vegetables, I guess. I don't know why. Do you have the same problem? Does your snails and your fish sometimes eat not all of your plants, but some in particular? I had a couple of plants that was like grassed down. They ate everything. It's so annoying. But I guess happy fish, happy aquarium or something. So now the scape is very ready for a little bit of water. Yep, it's a little bit because I think it's just 5 liters as I said, so it's not gonna be much. Here I'm just using my tap water. I haven't done anything to it yet, but my tap water is super pure. I live in Norway, we have good water sources. It doesn't contain any chlorine, or not in large amounts at least. You can keep fish in tap water without doing anything to it. And the pH for my water is around 6.3 and it has 0 KH or GH, so it's truly acidic soft water. So the pH is gonna be good for my neocaridina, or if I wanted to add some fancy tigers. I'm not sure yet if I want yellow neocaridina or the fancy tigers in here. If you have preference, please leave a comment, because as I'm like making this video, it's cycling, so I haven't added anything, because you need to wait to add shrimps. You cannot just dump them in a newly set up scape. They will need stuff to eat on, like algae and stuff, and that takes time, and also that good bacterial culture. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know in the comments down below. I would be very appreciative, because I have not made up my mind. But I think both of the types of shrimps, I can get both, and I mean the contrast, it would just look really nice. So which one should I keep? Please leave a comment. So now I'm just filling the water, and as you can see, the moss is a little bit floaty, but doesn't matter. It's gonna settle somewhere and it's gonna look natural, I guess. So this tank is gonna be a little bit not difficult to do water change, but I need to be careful when doing water changes in this tiny scape for the sake of my shrimps. So that's why, again, I have the aqua soil, and I have the dragonstone that does not affect the water, and I have a lot of stuff containing tannins, but I will also add some of the like concentrate from when I boiled tannins, just to keep the water filled with tannins, because it's a cool look. This kind of scape will need tannins in the water to look cool, and the shrimp does really well with tannins in the water, and they will look so cool. I mean, come on. Turned out quite nice, I would say. And I would apologize for the reflections in the tank, but I mean, filming in the daylight, it's just, I had to. I wanted to film it at night, but I couldn't, so yep, this is what I got. But I just love when you have that new aquascape and the water's settling, so you have the bubbles coming It just looks kind of cool. Do you like the way it turned out? Do you have a Biotope tank? I'm interested to know. I know a lot of people doesn't have the water quality for it, so it would take a lot of effort to actually adjust the water. But I guess I have the perfect water and I only do soft water fish because I'm lazy. But it works really well for me, and it's something different. This is my concentrate. I got a lot of concentrates, tannin concentrate, as you can see. So I'm just gonna add some in this aquarium to get that blackwater look that I want, because since I boiled everything, it's not gonna release that much of tannin, and the dark wood has been in another tank, so it won't release as much, but I can keep in track of the tannins by adding some with water changes. So this is where I wanted the tank to stand. It's like in a box, but it looks kind of cool. So it's like that tiny separated environment, and with the floating plants, I think that look is quite cool. It's a little bit bright right now because of the light, but it looks kind of cool when you have that like blackwater set up, and then you have the roots of the different kind of floating plants coming down. I thought that was a good look, and it's important to have something green in your tank to keep a little bit track of the nutrients, so you don't get like you want algae to grow in your tank with this kind of setup, but you don't want too much of it. There's a fine balance between too much and too little. It's gonna be a shrimp aquarium, so they will have some algae to eat. So this is like a little bit of the final look. It's very much bubbly and it's very bright in the reflections, so it's a little bit hard to see, but I think it turned out quite nice. I'm really excited to put shrimps in, so help me decide what kind of shrimps I'm gonna put in. Do you think the yellow neocaridina would be best, or the fancy tigers? I think both would make a good contrast. And as you can see here, this turned out quite cool. Everything works well together, and I think this tank's gonna settle in beautifully and work really well for the purpose I wanted it to work. So thank you so much for watching, and please help me decide on shrimps, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!